Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's our longtime substitute host, Dan Levitard's birthday, Tony. What makes Dan such a memorable fill-in?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Dan is always heady, steady, and sweaty. Bam!
Oh, yeah. Dan, he might not want to tell his age. I don't care. Exactly 10 years younger than me. So I know where Levitard is. He can't fake it. He can't, shave years off. You know how big personalities like Levitard, they shave years off, 5 years from now?
I don't think Dan's that way.
Can't do, he better not.
I don't think so. Dan was telling me that, because he just graduated high school about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what he's telling me. I guess that's not really true. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Cooper Flagg goes for 42. The Spurs and the Knicks play for the NBA Cup, and Jeff Saturday joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Pittsburgh Steelers dominating the Miami Dolphins in sub-freezing weather in Pittsburgh, winning 28-15 last night. Aaron Rodgers led the Steelers to 4 straight touchdown drives in the second and third quarters, making the score 28-3. Rodgers completed 23 of 27 passes, his highest one-game completion percentage since 2014. Just 2 weeks ago, Steelers fans were chanting, "Fire Tomlin." Wilbon, how do things look now for Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers?
Tony, they always look better after a win in the NFL. It's not like any other sport. Baseball is 1 of 162. Hockey and basketball is 1 of 81. No, football, you win a game, everybody feels good for a little bit.
Yep.
Until the next week, or until the next game, the next Thursday, Sunday, or Monday. And I watched that entire game last night. I hadn't planned on it. But I'm like, okay, Miami's got this rushing attack. They've won 5 out of 6 or whatever. They've gotten themselves together. They may have saved their coach's job. Let's see what they do in Pittsburgh. And the answer was nothing. They didn't want to be out there. They're like Florida, Miami and Tampa. Whenever they go to somewhere and it's under 40, they got these records. They're 0-5,700. And then they looked like they were scared and didn't want to be there. So I don't know what it means. I mean, other folks can assign it some great meaning. I'm not. Pittsburgh's got tough games to end the season with. His last 3 games. I'll wait for those.
Yeah, I'm going to just talk about Aaron Rodgers for a second because it's easy to hate Aaron Rodgers lately, but he is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, he was with the Jets. The Jets stink. Now he's with the Steelers. The Steelers do not stink. It is reflected in Aaron Rodgers' play. He didn't lose his skills. They didn't erode overnight. Aaron Rodgers, at this point, his passer rating this year, Mike, is 98.8. That's 11th in the league. 11 out of 32 is pretty good. And let's get to the Tomlin thing. It was silly to say fire Tomlin, but to Mike Tomlin's credit, he took it very well. He said he understood it. He did not lash out at the fans. We understand the Steelers are not going to fire Mike Tomlin. We get that. But we spent a lot of time on this show, Mike, talking about whether Tomlin maybe would think about moving somewhere else and leaving, that his time was done, which is what Ben Roethlisberger advocated. And Roethlisberger turned that around last night when before the game he said, if Mike Tomlin wants to coach 10 more years in Pittsburgh, I'm good with that. And that, kids, is what we call a backpedal for Ben Roethlisberger. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh was center stage because the game turned out to be That's what it was. Let's turn to the NBA, where Cooper Flagg last night became the youngest player to score at least 40 points in a game. Flagg, who turns 19 Sunday, finished with 42 in Dallas's overtime loss at Utah. LeBron previously held the mark for most points as an 18-year-old at 37. Tone, was Flagg's feat last night a big deal, little deal, or no deal at all?
I think to accurately answer that question, you almost have to give it a little time to be fair about it. If he turns out to be a great player like LeBron, we're going to be able to say this is when it started. If he doesn't, maybe it becomes a curiosity at some point. And you have to consider there are very, very few players in the NBA ever who are 18 years old. Most of the time, even the young ones enter at 19 or 20. And Cooper Flagg skipped a year in high school just so he could get to college. So with all of these caveats, I will say that it is at least a little deal. Again, with the swirl around him, maybe it's a big deal. You know, I mean, I'll give you that maybe it's a big deal. The way I would deal with this question is to ask it this way. How many other rookies have had 42 points this year, regardless of their age?
None.
And the answer is no one.
Yeah.
So you have to give Cooper Flagg a lot of credit here. He is a kid playing against grown men, and he went for 42. He's averaged almost 26 points his last 7 games. This is why he was the overall number 1 pick.
Yeah, this is not a surprise. Maybe the number 42 is. I'm going to admit, I didn't watch any of this game because I was watching a much better game between Houston and Denver, which had some drama to it.
I thought you were watching the football. You said you watched the football.
You're the last person in America left with one TV, a 9-inch, like
TV.
Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton. You're the only guy doing that, Captain Video. So, but you know, Tony, so Kobe could have done it, right? Maybe Moses Malone, although Moses might have been 19. I mean, for 100 years, you came in the league older. So I just don't see it as a big deal. I see Cooper Flagg as a big deal. I see his maturation as a big deal. I see him getting out of that stupid point guard thing as a big deal. And I will watch Cooper Flagg excitedly, but 42 in and of itself, not doing much for me.
All right, let's stay with the NBA and discuss tonight's championship game in the NBA Cup, that in-season tournament that was invented 3 years ago. Tonight in Las Vegas, of all places, San Antonio will play the Knicks to see who takes home $530,000 per man. The loser gets $212,000. Well, on which team would this phony baloney tournament mean more to, the Spurs or the Knicks?
The Spurs. No doubt the Spurs, Tony. And you know what? Listen, you and I feel the same way about this whole thing, but younger players don't. And I covered the first one. I was there for it 2 years ago. I know exactly what younger players. I remember talking to Halliburton that night when the Pacers played. And no, it means a lot to the stars of those teams. And to Wembanyama, and it's a steal from soccer, but Wembanyama grew up in Europe. He's French. It means everything. And so the cup does, the competition does, it does. And if the Knicks were to win this and hang a banner, I would make fun of you and everybody in New York who ever cheered for the Knicks for the rest of time. They better not hang a banner in the world's most famous arena for this. The Spurs is different. They're a kiddie team, and they're hellacious. They're stalking everybody in the league. It would mean a lot to them, and I'm going to try to watch as much of this as I can.
Yeah, good. You can watch from me. I'm not going to be watching because I don't even think it's on real TV. I think it's on streaming TV, and I'm not getting streaming just to watch this game. Look, it's an invented tournament. It is meaningless to me. It may be meaningful to other people, not to me. People sat around in the NBA offices and they said, let's have an in-season tournament because this is what soccer does. And the NBA looks at soccer's global draw and says, this is what we want. Let's put this tournament at the beginning of the season, maybe create a buzz because we're going to get crushed by the NFL. Let's see if we can focus on us. We'll put it out there. This is who we are. Will you watch us? And it's fine. It's fine if you want to watch it. The winner will be forgotten by Friday. I'll take exception to what you're saying about the Knicks. They haven't won anything in 52 years. They got a lot of rafter space. And if they win this, they ought to hang up a gigantic banner and just say 2025 NBA Cup. Remember where you were when we won it and we ruled the NBA.
As a Knicks guy, you want this? A thing you won't even watch? You want that hanging from the rafters?
I don't, but I could see the Knicks wanting it until enough people stood up and said, get that out of here.
That'll be tomorrow.
We won 2 real titles. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Coming up, what could Phillip Rivers face against the Niners that he did not against the Seahawks? We will ask Jeff Saturday.
They better not hang. Yeah. We'll also ask him how deeply felt for the Packers Michael Parsons' loss is.
The Lakers hung a banner.
They shouldn't hang one either.
The Lakers hung a banner.
And they don't play in the world's most famous arena. They play in a place that...
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Grey Goose. You are watching Pardon the Interruption, presented by Grey Goose, part of Happy Hour.
We've got NFL questions for our great friend, ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday. We got to start with Phillip Rivers, and I'll just add parenthetically, I was amazed at Phillip Rivers' performance. I really was. If you were blocking for Phillip Rivers, are there things you'd be concerned about that the 49ers could do this week that maybe the Seahawks did not do after a week of watching film on this guy?
Yeah, great question. I would say press the line of scrimmage, right? Get tighter, understanding when you looked at it, really most of the passes he threw were coming out pretty quick and they're pretty short from a catch and go run. And so to get him to hold the ball longer, how do you change your coverages up so that he has to sit in the pocket? You adjust his of wanting to let the ball go. And I would say that would be kind of thing. Once teams zone in, Rivers will have to take kind of the belt off, right? The training wheels off of him coming back and let the thing rip a few times, because you're going to have to back those guys off and not let pressure get to you, because as an offensive lineman, he's a sitting duck. You're going to protect like crazy, but at some point they know where he is, and the ball's got to come out. So that would be the only thing that I would say teams will begin to adjust on.
Let's go to a quarterback who's 14 years younger, Patrick Mahomes. And Jeff asked you, if you were one of Mahomes' teammates, how uncertain would the future feel right now?
Not at all. Listen, I'm going to tell you, Patrick Mahomes, this is just a retooling, in my opinion, right? Like where the Chiefs are, the Chiefs have rested on Patrick Mahomes. And in all due respect, it worked, right? I mean, how many Super Bowls has the guy gone to, right? You won 3, like it's worked. Like you can't blame him, but you saw this year there was way too much reliance on, Mahomes save us type thing. And unfortunately, they had drops, whether it was Rice or Worthy or Kelsey at times. They didn't run it very well. Their offensive line got banged up. There are a lot of pieces of the part. They need to kind of have, if you remember a few years ago when they brought in like Humphrey and Smith and Bolton, and they got McDuffie, right? And they got juiced up a little bit, right? Young, energetic, all made impacts. They need another one of those kind of draft classes where they're developing guys. For Mahomes can carry it, but it can't only be one guy, and they just kind of got caught. And even Andy Reid and Nagy, it was a little stale. Like if you look at you look at Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and McVay, like their offenses are a little more, they're doing a little more than Andy Reid, which you would have never thought. So I think this invigorates that Chiefs team. I think they start a new phase, and no real worry once he gets past, obviously, the rehab portion of the surgery, what's 9 months or whatever that is. I think I would feel completely comfortable with how Mahomes will attack the next part of his career.
All right, that's enough quarterback talk. We got to get to some defense talk here, particularly for those of us who will be in Soldier Field watching Bears-Packers on Saturday night. I was fascinated when you compared Micah Parsons this morning on Get Up to a quarterback and his importance to a quarterback. Jeff, can you elaborate on that?
No, absolutely. You think about, okay, so let me put this in perspective. He's had 64 quarterback pressures this year, or that was kind of the running total. The next highest on his team right now has 28, Rashawn Gary. Okay, so just think about that discrepancy. And now think about every player on your defense plays and has predictions based on him getting that pressure, right? Like defensive backs can see when there's no chip help or there's no tight end on his side or they don't feel like they're going to slide his way. They know ball's coming out quick. I'm going to climb up a little bit and play this tighter, or I'm going to play inside. Quarterback of it. Everything came off of what can Micah Parsons do for the defense that everybody else can kind of take note. He multiplies, right? It's a force multiplier. He understood that by him playing well, everybody else could play well around him. That is a massive loss, and it is equal to losing a quarterback on offense. This was a massive loss for the Packers. And listen, people are bashing me because I said it's going to affect their Super Bowl chances. It will. They brought him in for a reason, Mike. Like you and I both, they had this defense before that was close to being a top 5 or top 10, whatever it was. That wasn't good enough. You want to win the Super Bowl, you need a closer. He is the closer. Unfortunately, they lose him, man, for all of us, because I wanted to see it in the playoffs, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it for at least another year.
This is very interesting that you would say that was a massive loss. You've said that all year. You've said that only one other time about Lane Johnson. You said that was a massive loss. This is only the second time. We will get you out of here on this. It's easy to see how the cold affects receivers and quarterbacks. It's harder to catch the ball. It's harder to throw the ball. It's harder to grip the ball in the cold. The position you play, offensive lineman, does the cold affect offensive linemen and defensive linemen at all?
Oh, yeah, especially them ends. They get a little worried about their hands, you know. Your face mask hits the hand. Or you trap them down and slap them down, their head hits that dirt. It's a lot harder when it's cold than when it's warm. But nobody likes to get beat around when it's 17 degrees out there, right? So as an offensive lineman, I always thought it was our advantage, because we know where we're going. Hopefully we get there a split second ahead, and oftentimes we're double teaming a guy, right? So you're trying to finish and make sure you're laying the hat on him a little extra, making sure if you see his fingers near a pile, maybe slide your cleat over it a little bit, just make them think about that cold and that pain, because that's the joy and the beauty of that O-line, D-line battle, man. They ain't nothing. And listen, they do the same. Don't let them church it up. I ain't gonna let them. They would do it to me. I'm sitting down. I took a lot of shots underneath those piles, so I don't feel bad for them either. It's just all part of it.
Jeff, that's great to have you, Jeff. As always, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Love you, fellas. Have a great one.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, Arch Manning appears to have made a decision about his future.
And the Clippers. Oh, the Clippers continue their swoon season long. Can't get up.
They stink.
Falling and they can't
stink.
get up.
By the way, how about that expression Jeff just used to
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Grey Goose. Make time wait. Please enjoy responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 43rd birthday, Antrell Roll. The NFL DB is one of those infrequent players to have won an NCAA championship in college and a Super Bowl in the pros. Roll won in college at the U in 2001, then was on the Giants' Super Bowl winners in 2011. Roll played 11 seasons in the NFL, 5 with the Giants, 5 with the Cardinals, 1 with your Bears, Mike. He made 3 Pro Bowls. Football Reference says Roll is a cousin to Chad Ochocinco Johnson and to Myron and Samari Roll. Myron Roll is best known for being a Rhodes Scholar after playing at Florida State and is now a neurosurgeon. Samari Roll once made the Pro Bowl as a DB with the Titans.
Don't you remember Myron visiting us here when he was a rising Rhodes Scholar? We had to keep an eye on this kid. He and Chad Ochocinco. What? That must be really cool at like Thanksgiving if you get to sit between the two of them.
Happy anniversary, Drew Brees. On this day 6 years ago, the Saints quarterback had arguably the best game of his 20-year career. Brees completed 28 of 29 pass attempts, setting a single-game record for quarterbacks with over 20 attempts, percentage of 96.7. In Brees' 20th straight completion, he threw his 540th career touchdown pass to break Peyton Manning's NFL record. Tom Brady has since surpassed them both. Brees finished the game with 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, 34-7 win over the Colts. This past Sunday, the Saints rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck set a franchise record for most passing yards in a season by a rookie. And Chuck did this in only the 6th game he has started.
I know how much you liked seeing Drew Brees play in New Orleans. I did too. Is it possible he's still underrated? As great as he is, Hall of Fame career that he had with Drew Brees.
He's a great quarterback.
Yes.
He's great. Happy trails to the NFL draft for Arch Manning. Manning's father, Cooper, told ESPN that Arch will return for his 4th season at Texas in 2026. Peyton and Eli's nephew has had a down and up year. The redshirt sophomore threw 5 interceptions in his first 5 games, 2 of which were losses at Ohio State and Florida. But he's only thrown 2 picks over his last 7 games. On the season, he's thrown for 24 touchdowns and run for another 8. The Longhorns also lost at Georgia this year, but ended the regular season on a high note, upsetting undefeated rival Texas A&M. Wilbon, what do you make of this decision?
Senior year could and should be the high note. I hope he has a great senior year. I'm going to root like hell for him.
Me too. Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Rockets coach Ime Udoka criticized the refs after Houston's overtime loss to Denver with good reason.
I noticed Jokic just seeing Goon going for triple-doubles, but I didn't notice the refs, which is usually a good sign. I didn't. Unseeded Washington won the NCAA soccer championship in overtime. I know you're impressed.
Very impressed. They did it 5 miles. They beat NC State 5 miles from the NC State campus. Very impressed. Blackhawks say Connor Bedard is out with a shoulder injury until at least the new year. Your thoughts?
4th in points, 5th in goals. The kid's starting to become great, and now he's going to be out for a bit. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins host Connor McDavid and the Oilers tonight. You're intrigued?
Yes, because I found out it's on Real TV, not this streaming stuff. Real TV. Last one, the Clippers have lost 18-21. Can you defend them?
I can't defend him. What are you talking about? You're such a fraud. You have streaming in your home already. You watch the Thursday
Not
night
like
game.
you have
It's
it.
the same channel.
Not like you have it. You got 3 TVs all streamed. I have 1 small stream. Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow.
Tonight's PTI bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, how do the Steelers stack up with the AFC's top teams?
They don't. They don't. We can sugarcoat this and, sort of try to break down some phony baloney junk. But the fact is, Denver, the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Bills, and the Texans, and the Steelers are right in the middle. They would be the 4th seed. Those are the top 7 teams in the AFC. I would take all 6 of them over the Steelers in a playoff game. Even in Pittsburgh, maybe not the Chargers in frosty Pittsburgh, but everybody else, and probably the Chargers too. I would take Baltimore if it comes to that. And by the way, they're going to play each other. They're going to play each other in Pittsburgh. And I take all those teams ahead of the Steelers, who I know they beat Miami last night. It wasn't all that impressive. It's fine. You make the playoffs, you get a shot, you get a home game if you win your division like Pittsburgh would have to, and I don't have them ranking with anybody.
Yeah, I think they will make the playoffs because for Baltimore to beat them, Baltimore is going to have to sweep its last 3 games, which are New England, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. That's tough.
That's a lot.
I don't think you can bet on that. Aaron Rodgers last night praised his team and called them cast-offs.
Yeah.
If that is something that the Pittsburgh Steelers want to wrap, they can win a game or 2.
Good for them.
Yeah, I can see Jacksonville and the Chargers and the Texans having trouble if they had to go to Pittsburgh because it's cold. And you saw what happened to Miami. But I can't see that home field advantage, the cold weather advantage helping them against Buffalo or Denver or New England.
They don't have a cold advantage over those teams.
No,
and I'm going to take Houston and Jacksonville. Those Florida teams, they do roll over and die like dogs the moment it's cloudy and less than 50. But, the Steelers, stop. It's a wrap. We're done. Back to you.